And looks like I have audio and video. Maybe. Yeah, okay. Looks good to me.
Just audio, right?
Well, I meant I do the slideshow, not
right.
our video. I don't do our video, just the slideshow. Okay. So this week's comic, which was really like 2 weeks ago, but I just couldn't help, ended up in the hospital. So now this week's comic is The Incredible Hulk number 1, 1962, released May 1st, so almost like the same time of year.
59 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not on the right page of my notes, so let me get there. Completely prepared. Okay. So, we'll just go into it. Part 1, The Coming of the Hulk. Bruce Banner, somewhat arrogant, super smart scientist guy, but for some reason does not annoy me the way that Mr. Fantastic does. Creates a gamma ray bomb, but does not share his research with anyone, which, I mean, if you're a scientist, that's not science if you're not researching with other people.
When you're researching nuclear weapons, that's all secret, or that used to be top secret. Like, I could tell you about it, but then I'd have to kill you.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. So that's all top secret, or was top secret stuff. So that didn't strike me as being weird. That just struck me like, oh yeah, right. It's top secret stuff.
There is a military guy who I guess his last name is Ross, called Thunderbolt, which I don't know if like he's a future super villain or superhero, I don't know, is annoyed that science takes so long, and he wants to bomb things right now. His daughter, Betty Ross, just likes to hang out at top secret experimental launches, I guess. Is there. Okay.
Right. How the heck did she get into that facility? She's not doing anything.
Yeah. And we could briefly talk about how she is trying to calm her crazy dad down, and he tells her to stay out of it because it's a man talk. Which, I mean, okay, so that's like sexist, but why is she there? Is she a scientist, or is she's just there? I don't know.
She's just there.
Yeah. So just as they're about to launch, a kid in a car comes into the blast radius because nobody's guarding this dangerous site. And Banner runs out there to save the idiot. Tells Igor, his assistant, to delay the launch, but someone fires anyway. So it didn't make clear who was firing, because Igor sounded like he wanted to, but also the Thunderbolt guy also sounded like he wanted to, so we don't know who fired it, but Bruce ends up saving the kid, Rick Jones, but is hit with the blast himself. Rick gets him back to the military infirmary, which is more like a prison cell than an infirmary, and as night falls, Banner turns into the Hulk, breaking through the concrete wall and out of the building.
Right.
And once again, he broke through a wall, but he does not piss me off as much as the Thing pisses me off when he breaks through walls. I don't know why. Immediately, army guys in a jeep see him and try to run him over unsuccessfully. Really, the military just completely sucks at response to non-human entities. Like, you think they would learn, right? They would get over themselves. Like, if you see a giant monster, just be like, first observe, stop the vehicle, observe what's going on. If they're not attacking, maybe don't shoot them with nuclear weapons or something. I don't know. Anyways, Rick follows the Hulk as he seems to remember that he needs something from his home, which is like a vague idea in his head. And that's where part 1 ends. Already with part 1, I am liking this comic way more than any other of the comics we read. I feel like it's not as plot holy, and I don't know, it just seems to flow better to me.
Maybe because there's only one of them.
Maybe.
The only thing that caught my eye that I was like, wait a minute, he's supposed to be green. He's blue in the comic.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have a problem with this in general with the comics is they like change colors a lot. Like people's clothes change colors and stuff, and I think it's because it's like they're portraying them in different lighting things, but it's just like another solid color. And so it's really weird how they do it in comics. I'm assuming it's just a style of comics that they do that, but colors change so much. It bothers me. I had to go back to make sure he was wearing an orange shirt the whole time because I didn't remember him wearing an orange shirt because he had a white lab coat over it, but he was, so that's okay. Part 2, the Hulk strikes. So he gets to his cabin and finds Igor going through his things and kicks the crap out of him after Igor fails to shoot him with a gun. And as he trashes his own cabin fighting Igor, he finds the secret gamma research taped to the bottom of a glass beaker. So something you can see through, he taped it to the bottom of. Just gonna leave that there. Whatever. And then he sees a picture of himself that makes him angry that he was once weak and soft. Rick's there with him trying to be like, that was you. You're a good person or something.
Right, and you're weak and soft. Like, what?
Yeah,
what?
yeah. It was weird. It becomes daylight soon after, and he reverts back to Bruce Banner as the cavalry arrive and carry off the spy Igor. Which, like, I guess it's, the movement of how quickly comics have to go, but, like, Igor said he wanted the research. Like, that Bruce should share it. And then Bruce gets injured, and Igor goes looking for the research. That wouldn't immediately say to me in my head that he's a spy. Like, maybe it's not the ethical move to make to go look for your person's research, but I wouldn't immediately call him a spy for doing that.
This was written in 1962 during the Cuban Missile Crisis, was in this time period, and we had the arms race, and the Russians were spying on us, and we were spying on them. So, and his name is Igor, which is Russian. So you were supposed to pick up on the fact that he's a Russian spy by his name being Igor.
Oh.
And so, which is it's really also kind of, racist is not the word, it's nationalist or whatever, but,
Yeah.
We're picking on, this is, yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know
see,
the word.
Igor, more in my head, is related to, what you call it? The monster guy. His
Right.
guy was Igor, so I didn't think of it as a nationality. I thought of it as that.
No, it was Igor. Oh, Igor turns out to be a Russian spy. What a surprise. I'm like, what a surprise.
So, the part 3, the search for Hulk. The military think Igor is helping the Hulk or something, which is weird, and carry him off to jail. Betty shows up again to apologize for her father being an ass earlier, and they have like a little flirty connection that grosses out Rick, who's still there. This is just some like teenage dude who drove his car on the site, and now he's like following Bruce Banner around,
Right.
like a puppy dog.
Well, he saved his life, so.
Yeah. But maybe does he not have any family and friends who are like, hey, where did Rick go? Rick's been missing for 2 days now. Anyways, and days are obviously super short in the Hulk universe because suddenly it's almost night again. And
it only took a couple pages. It only took a page or two, right?
Like two cells, two panels, and it's night again already. And Banner is worried what will happen. Yeah, so the Hulk, based on whether it's night or day, obviously that's changed, or maybe it'll change in the future.
It might. Yeah, that was the other thing I noticed when I was reading. Is like, wait a minute, he turns into the Hulk at night, and he's Bruce Banner in the daytime.
Yeah.
Some point, they changed that because when I watched the show in the '70s, the television show that had Lou Ferragamo playing the Hulk.
Yeah.
He got mad, and then he would change.
Yeah, it was really weird.
That's the way it is in the movie too.
Because I was thinking like maybe he just doesn't realize it, but he doesn't seem to be getting angry when he turns. So I guess legitimately it started out with him being the Hulk at night and Bruce Banner during the day. Part 4, Enter the Gargoyle. I literally laughed out loud when it came to the panel with the thumb, because I thought he had, before I read the comic and saw the pic, I thought he had drawn like a little happy face on his thumb or something, that he was playing finger puppets. Like, why is it showing his thumb? So Igor is playing finger puppets to contact the vague Asian commies who have a super genius called the Gargoyle. They like don't mention countries or anything.
Well, it's Igor, so you're supposed to know it's Russia.
Okay, I've totally missed that connection. Who just has a big forehead and a little bit of a misshapen face. So, I mean, I feel like Gargoyle is a little harsh. But the Gargoyle wants to capture the Hulk and shoots himself off in a rocket to America, where Banner and Rick are going for a ride right before nighttime. Which ends exactly as you think it would, with a wrecked car and Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk. Like, he's probably going to turn, maybe stop the car, get out of the car, whatever, it's fine. So now the Hulk has an urge to find Betty, who he has a crush on, while the Gargoyle had a perfect landing right next to the Hulk in the desert. And Betty needs some fresh nighttime air and goes out. The Hulk grabs her and she faints, because of course she does. Because that's the 1960s, right?
Well, yeah, this was early 60s.
Yeah.
1962. Yes, this is right before everything started changing.
This is actually where, like, yeah, this Betty character is not adding anything to the story except a love interest for Hulk, I guess.
Yep.
This is not a well-written character. I am already tired of her. So part 5, the Hulk triumphant. The Gargoyle shoots the Hulk and Rick with some kind of pellet that makes him his slaves. And they drive to the coast to get shot up in a rocket back behind the Iron Curtain. Meanwhile, Betty's dad vows revenge on the Hulk, even though he didn't do anything to his daughter. Like,
yeah,
he came up and scared her and she fainted. And so that elicits a venge pact for the rest of his life, that he's going to murder the Hulk or something. The military, once again, overreacting in these comic books, I swear. They just need to calm down. They know they can't do anything with these super people, and they'll still shoot nukes at them. I don't get it. You think they would learn. As the Hulk lands, he turns back into Bruce Banner, since once again it is day, which I'll give it to them. I don't know how long a rocket takes to get to the other side of the world, but I'm assuming relatively long time.
Well, also he is flying, the
sunrise.
Toward the sunrise, right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take as long.
The Gargoyle realizes Hulk and Banner are the same. Duh. Because he only stole 2 people. Like, Rick and Banner try to play it off, but it's like, hey, dudes, he stole 2 people, and 2 people got out of the plane, and one of them he knows, and one of them he doesn't, so it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Banner tells him he can change the Gargoyle to look like a regular person, but he'll be stupid. And the Gargoyle agrees. They're like, yes, I just want to die as a regular person. I hate being smart.
I don't
Um,
want to be smart. I want to be, yeah, that's kind of a weird message to send to people.
yeah, real weird. I feel like
That was a,
I feel like maybe though this is the best outcome for a supervillain so far in all the comics we read.
it's
Uh,
true. He just says, like, okay, I'll be an idiot as long as I don't look like a
yeah,
gargoyle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're like the smartest person in Russia, and yeah, okay, whatever, it's fine. Um, so he agrees and he frees Bruce and Rick into their own rocket, and he blows up the compound to get back at his people because I guess he hates them for hating him or something. That's not
Yeah,
really clear.
they were like verbally abusive toward him and
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, from the beginning of the comic, they were all like terrified of him. Uh, so I'm assuming maybe he was violent and aggressive towards them. I don't know. Whatever. He kills them. So he dies, assuming he dies. I mean, you never know with supervillains. Uh,
And they take his rocket ship back to
yeah.
America.
The end. So I think this is the best comic we've read so far. Nothing aggravated the hell out of me like the other ones.
Well, for me, the only thing that bothered me was the the color. He's not green, and he also the changing at night and during the day is like, well,
Yeah.
that's going to be very limiting. So it'll be interesting to see how they change that. So one of the things that's interesting here, and so this was in May of '62. This little thing, his communicator on his thumb. That's really high tech for
Yeah,
'62.
that was super high tech. Um,
Today it's just like, oh look, he's got a little Apple Watch on his thumb or something, you know?
yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't think they would figure something that tiny to
Yeah.
communicate
Well,
with.
no, they had some really good, imagination going on. Um, but on page 15, where they have her, what's the girl's name? I can't remember.
Betty.
Yeah, Betty. Can you see her?
Mm-hmm.
She's got on she's wearing white gloves.
Yes, I saw the white gloves.
And that's the way that women dressed back in the 50s. When you left your house, you put on gloves and a hat. She's not wearing a hat, but you would
She
have
is in
worn
the
gloves.
first one. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm in love with like 1950s housewife clothes, which is kind of, I mean, I feel like these silhouettes are the same. So she's got like this purple coat on with a purple hat.
Yeah.
In the first time we see her, it's like, oh yeah, so pretty. We still really haven't seen a good dress that I like, but
Well, that was that style at the time, and the wearing the hat like the Jacqueline Onassis, Jackie Kennedy.
yeah,
Um, like she fashion icon. This was the kind of stuff that she wore at that time. Because JFK has not been assassinated yet.
I would also just like to state, so this all takes place in one day with Betty, and she's in four different outfits. She wears four different outfits for one time period.
Yeah. So the way they do comics is kind of interesting. You have one person who writes the story, and one person who draws all the characters, the black part, and the equipment and stuff like that. And then you have someone who comes in and does the colors.
Right.
I forget what they're called. They have a specific name, but that's all they do is they paint the colors in the comics. They have a name that I can't remember, colorist, I think, or something like that. They may not even be given credit, but so it's not Stan Lee's fault that the Hulk is blue, or the colors that you said were bothering you.
Yeah.
It may have been colored by um, different people. They just have somebody who goes in and paints it like with watercolor. I don't know what they use, maybe watercolor or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the colors just bother me. That they
But
changed.
these are actually this one actually seems a little from a visual aspect. This one seems a more dull to me, more gritty, more. The Fantastic Four is a little lighter. The colors are lighter.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, but yeah, I can see how this one would be a little more interesting. So you like this one better?
I did. I like this one the best out of all of them so far. I felt like the story moved along in um
Yeah,
without a whole bunch of plot holes or ridiculousness. I mean, there's a couple like time things, but those are, because you have to tell a story in 25 pages. Uh,
right.
yeah, overall, I liked it way better. And I liked that the Hulk, I mean, he broke through the original wall, which I will give him credit for since he just turned. This was his first time, so he had no control. I mean, the Hulk doesn't have control, technically. But, like, he didn't really destroy anything else. Um, and he was, you know, he didn't kill, I mean, he didn't, like, use his superpower to kill the bad guy. I liked it. I don't know.
Well, the superpower, the bad guy didn't get dead. I mean, he did, but it wasn't because
Right, right.
they didn't kill him,
Yeah.
and they didn't let him go or some weird stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, well, I feel like he talked it through, which I feel a lot of these superheroes need to be doing. They need to be talking it through. Like, Mr. Fantastic, I feel like makes so many assumptions about people he doesn't know. And it's like, maybe ask them, Mr. Fantastic, how they feel. Like, yeah, instead of just assuming that, yeah.
Yeah, and the Thing needs an anger management program.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. And even though the Hulk is supposed to be more like less thinking and more physical, he really wasn't in this one. I don't know if that's going to change later on. Like, he still had enough common sense to be like, he went to his home, he could find his home, he could find Betty. He didn't want to be, weak and smart, but he wasn't also just like rampaging, destroying everything.
Right.
So I think those are the reasons I liked it better than the other ones.
The next one is The Terror of the Toad Men.
I just like that every issue is like a new bad guy. Like, we're not even going to reuse anything. We're just going to just pump out all of these bad guys.
Yeah. Hello. Let's see how many bad guys we can get.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So we'll read that one next week. The Terror of the Toadmen.
I'm really kind of enjoying this, going back and reading these old ones from the 60s because for me it's kind of like, wow, look how far we've come.
Yeah.
When he said that thing to Betty, and it was just like, yeah, that was totally the attitude back then.
Yeah. But I mean, so specifically saying that to Betty was not right, but like also I don't think she should have been there in the first place. Like, maybe, like, not be quiet because this is man talk, but be quiet because this is top secret stuff that you shouldn't know about and shouldn't be here.
Well, it's okay if there's women there, and the whole thing is you shouldn't be here because you're a woman.
Yeah.
But they did actually have some female scientists. They just didn't talk about them.
That's true.
Remember the movie Hidden Figures about the black woman?
That one.
And there were a few others that worked. I know in the NASA program there were some female scientists. They were very few, but they were there.
Yeah. I don't think she's a scientist though.
No, she's not.
She's just
they failed. They could have.
Yeah, they could have made her a scientist.
They could have made her a scientist. They should have made her a scientist.
Yeah. If they did, and like she was like a co-scientist, and it happened, and when it was all over, when Igor looking through his stuff, she could have like found Igor looking, and you know Igor could have threatened her with a gun, and then she would have been a damsel in distress for the Hulk to save.
Right.
I just rewrote it for them. You're welcome.
Tatiana and Cecilia rewrite the Marvel comics.
Pretty much the Fantastic Four just needs a complete rewrite. And I'm not even going to try to fix that crap.
I was actually watching... are we still recording?
I can stop. We're good. Okay, so next week we will do Incredible Hulk number 2, The Terror of the Toadmen. Dun